This is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
This is episode 151 on the 3rd of January 2019. The time by the studio clock is 10:30 am. Humans by nature are a species which gets distracted easily. So we come up with hypothetical things like setting goals, being focused, making a bucket list so that we are not easily distracted and we continue to do some work and have some kind of concentration. And it just doesn't become about setting goals but fulfilling such goals which seem improbable. So every 12 months we set goals for ourselves for the next 12 months, but then we have given it a glamorous term, New Year resolutions. Ideally, such resolutions or goals are meant to be private. Whatever ideas we have about bettering ourselves, we do it in a private manner. But thanks to the rise of social media, an undue pressure has been created to tell the whole world what our plans are, no matter how cliched it is. Whether one sticks to such resolutions or not is beside the point. The pertinent question is, why do we need New Year resolutions or any kind of goal, and why does one need to tell the whole world about this? In the contemporary times where the debate around one's privacy is becoming exponential day by day, minute by minute, humans are paradoxical in this nature by telling everyone everything, as if it's an unwritten contract to tell the world that we are focusing on something and we will fulfill a certain ambitious goal by the end of the required 12 months. It's completely understandable if one has a goal because this is what keeps the usual and easily distractible human mind focused, but this undue pressure of telling the entire planet what our plans are may backfire if those plans are not fulfilled. If one has heard the story of the shepherd who cried wolf, then the New Year resolutions or one goals are exactly in the same boat. One cannot cry over privacy when we ourselves are telling the whole world what we are doing, what we are eating. Then the debate around privacy becomes meaningless and non-existent. What are the usual goals that individuals have? It ranges from losing weight, finishing an assignment, or stop overeating and other such banal ideas. The flip side about New Year resolutions is that it often puts undue pressure on an individual if they are unable to fulfill it. The moment one concretizes such ambitions, such ideas, it takes the fun out of it. For example, one knows that for a student who is appearing for their exams, be it school exams, college exams, or entrance exams for specific organizations where they want to work. One knows that they have to work hard. As a student, one is required to work hard, but one doesn't need to put any extra pressure on themselves. Just make it a normal thing. It's the same for a sports person. A sports person wants to be the best in the sport, but the moment they start telling everyone that I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, the entire exercise is fruitless. Be it a student or a sports person or any profession where goals could make or break that person's career if we put undue pressure on ourselves while performing the goal set, then it's a waste. But if one does it as if it's a normal thing, for example, if a student knows that there are exams around the corner and these exams cannot be escaped from, then one needs to study in a casual manner as if these are not exams, just another day at the school, and we study in the most casual and relaxed manner. The moment one relaxes oneself while performing a certain duty or a goal, then the entire idea of new resolutions being fulfilled or not being fulfilled or one ditching them never comes into focus. It is the same for a sports person. If one does what one does being a sports person, there is no need to put any extra effort. The impression that others should get is that even though this person is casual about things, the results are coming. If one works too hard towards something, that nobody takes anybody seriously. But if one is semi-casual and relaxed, then the impression that comes on the outside is that this person is relaxed about his profession or about his ambition. If the goal is as banal as losing weight, one doesn't need to do anything extra. Sometimes doing things without planning too much also helps. The moment one starts taking stress about something, the effort goes waste and the individuals can see that this individual is stressed, where the need for the stress is not there. One cannot force themselves to set goals for a certain period of time. It has to be paced as per the individual's need. It has to be methodical, and the result should come out in a manner as if this individual has been working hard for centuries. Or if there is a need to set goals, they have to be private because nobody is interested in another's goals because others have their own goals and nobody wants to feel let down or distracted by being affected by others' goals. Being overburdened with anything doesn't help anyone. Nobody is interested if you want to go on a holiday by the end of the year. If you want to go on a holiday, just do it. Don't advertise it as if people have nothing more to do than listen to your ramblings. For example, if two students have a similar yet banal goal of getting 90% in their respective exams, they will go about setting this goal in a different manner. This is what differentiates human intelligence from artificial intelligence. Every human being has a different way of looking at the same thing. One doesn't have to be so stringent about setting goals or getting stressed over the fact that my goals are not being fulfilled. It's okay if one's goal doesn't get fulfilled in 2020, then they will get fulfilled in 2021 or 2022. But that doesn't mean that one is procrastinating. Every individual's intellect is wired differently. Just because automation is taking over doesn't mean that we have to also become automons. For example, if I have to fulfill a certain assignment by the end of this week, I will not do the other assignment because then none of the assignments will get the attention they want. Once my assignment for this week is done, then I will concentrate on the other assignment. It's about ticking off the boxes. One needs to be smart about what kind of goals one is setting. One has to do away with banal goals like being fit, not smoking, not overeating this year. Such resolutions don't impress anyone, nor do they impress the individuals trying to do this. Such resolutions don't hold any water. For example, I wouldn't have done 151 episodes if I had put pressure on myself to complete a certain number of episodes by the end of the year. I know when I can do the episodes. If there is a time to take a break, I will take a break. And if a few extra months are taken to complete the goal, so be it. I enjoy producing these episodes. I have no obligation to anyone, nothing to show to anyone that I am doing well. And that is why my episodes are produced so diligently and sincerely. as well as being consistent. The moment one goes on an overdrive as far as achieving goals or setting goals are concerned, then this entire exercise goes in vain. What did one learn today as far as setting goals are concerned? Be casual about it. Understand that not all goals are time bound. Don't be influenced by peer pressure or the fad surrounding the idea of New Year resolutions. Bugs, surveillance, not a recent human activity. Ever since humans formed groups, formed countries, formed the idea of nation states and protecting one's land, the idea of surveillance has been there for ever. It's not a novel thing when we hear that countries spy on other countries or countries spy on their own citizens. That is the way human life is meant to be. While such activities did not affect us 30 to 40 years ago because the devices were not sophisticated and one had to be clandestine about using the devices in the contemporary times. One is worried about privacy and surveillance and about being bugged because the devices used are sophisticated. They can be easily disguised into the devices individuals use every day. Unlike 30 years ago when these surveillance devices were huge and they were seen and one had to be careful before doing any kind of clandestine operation. In the contemporary times, the devices are as small as one's finger. Our paranoia surrounding being surveilled has become greater because the devices are almost invisible and we have to be very careful in determining what one says because anything can be heard anywhere now. That's the irony of being a human being. We want to surveil others. We want to know what others are talking about us, be it from the administrations or common citizens, yet we don't want others to surveil us. This is where the entire debate is interesting in terms of how the human psyche works when it comes to protecting themselves but making sure that others don't have any kind of privacy. And that is why this debate on privacy and being bugged and being surveilled is very interesting. The nature and the idea of being surveilled or surveilling others becomes the same, but the method has become sophisticated thanks to the devices that have cropped up in the past 2 decades. On one hand, we welcome devices in our lives. On the other, we are wary of it because we know that these devices are connected to other devices and there are individuals who are listening, and we are often conflicted about this whole idea. Human intelligence versus artificial intelligence, and which is one thing as humans we all balk about. With the devices available today, one doesn't need to spy on the others because we ourselves tell everything to everyone with the availability of so many digital platforms. Well, telling everything has become the new way to show one's interest in daily activities. Take this example. Suppose one goes on a holiday which is meant to be private, but in our eagerness to tell everyone that we are enjoying ourselves, we post pictures of the location. And if our friend comes trotting to that location to a event which is meant for one's recreation, then one cannot complain that there was privacy breach. If you tell people where you are when you are not supposed to, when you don't want to, then you cannot blame technology for the same. Despite being knowledgeable about all this, we often fall prey to such activities, and the group which does this more often than not and is often criticized for doing the same are celebrities. For example, an Indian sports player recently got engaged to an individual which is a private activity, yet they found it pertinent to tell the whole world because the unwritten rules we have made about celebrities and the fact that they have to tell everything that is going on in their lives, even the most teeniest of things, the way we have shaped our aura around such a group that it is very difficult to understand that what is private and what is non-private, then these celebrities cannot complain of paparazzis and stalkers. By putting one's activity online, these very celebrities are inviting paparazzis and stalkers to haunt themselves and ask question or be asked question which they know are private, yet it has to become public. So celebrities are also responsible if they complain that they are being stalked or trolled online. There is no obligation for any celebrity or any common person to have a viewpoint about everything. And if they are eager to have a viewpoint, it has to be said in such a manner that a few individuals who are sensitive about every issue and see every issue as a way to be explosive and violent because they feel that their sentiments have been hurt. The only way to pacify this is to say in such a manner that it supports the issue, yet it doesn't pretend to hurt the sentiments of a few groups who feel that their pretend sentiments are being hurt or an individual they revere is being hurt who doesn't exist anymore. It's a modification of what Hamlet said years ago to post or not to post, to Instagram or not to Instagram, to tweet or not to tweet, just because there is an obligation to tweet every small issue. It's a dilemma because we say that upgrading oneself and having smart devices in one's home is important. Yet on the flip side, one says that these very devices are also responsible for turning into listening devices. One is worried about increasing one's broadband speeds, yet it comes with a monkey on its back one can't get rid of. There is this device called smart voice control, means there is a microphone in one's remote control. This device controls lights, cameras, smart devices, allows hands-free calling. Yet there is a privacy concern. So what is the solution? The makers have provided a prominent button to turn off the microphone. This does put us in a dilemma. We need to move ahead into the 22nd century with such devices, yet the concern of privacy remains. And switching oneself off from the internet in the contemporary times is a strict no. But it won't be surprising that us human beings, being what we are, the ability to come with unique solutions is what separates us from artificial intelligence and the Indian term jugaad, which is a way of getting things done in the cheapest manner, is important for human beings with such privacy concerns. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. With the focus on the 20 over World Championship due in 8 months, the performances in the next 10 to 12 matches will determine the final 15 or 16 players who will take the flight to Australia and look to regain the World T20 Championship, which has been eluding them since 2007. And just like one did in the 2016 World Cup, starting the year against Sri Lanka as the first opponent, the question is what could be the best playing 11 for the three matches starting this Sunday at 7 p.m. Two individuals have returned from injuries in Shikhar Dhawan and Jasprit Bumrah respectively, and while Bumrah is an automatic inclusion for me in the team without any hesitation, but Shikhar Dhawan cannot have the same kind of luxury. What could be the best playing 11 for the first match. The ideal opening partnership would be Rahul and Kohli, one between Manish Pandey and Shreyas Iyer at number 3, Sanju Samson at number 3, at number 4 the usual pair of Iyer and Pant. Post this we can only include two all-rounders, so two between Jadeja, Kunal Pandya, Washington Sundar and Shivam Dubey, and this will be a very difficult choice. Logic dictates that Dhawan doesn't need to be included immediately in the team, yet emotions and the support for him will say that Dhawan needs to be included straight into the team, partnering Rahul, partnering the very guy who has for me eclipsed him as far as the 2020 World Championship is concerned and the 2023 50 over World Championship is concerned. It won't be a surprise if Dhawan is immediately drafted into the team because the team has been waiting for him to come in, as Rohit Sharma has decided to take a break, which is good and which is a private decision. What he needs to do in the break is none of our concern. But instead of putting Dhawan in the team replacing Rohit, we could have gone for a younger and a more capable and skilled batter, for example Mayank Agarwal, or so many others waiting in the wings to do the job. Even a Surya Kumar Yadav would have got a chance, but the selectors are looking to go back in time instead of looking forward, and therefore this decision to include Dhawan is something which I feel will backfire if he fails to perform in these three matches. Then the dilemma will be if Dhawan by some miracle performs well in this particular tournament and Rohit comes back after its break, then will Rahul be sacrificed despite Rahul's consistent performances? Even during the World Cup when Dhawan was injured, despite India losing in the semi-final, India did not miss the services of Shikhar Dhawan because Rahul did exactly what he was supposed to do. So for me, Rahul is the way forward along with Rohit, and once Rohit is done, then the likes of Mayank Agarwal, Prithvi Shaw and others. Since the captain and the coach play an influencing role in getting an individual back post injury or for any other reason, it will be interesting as to how Kohli and Ravi Shastri react if Dhawan fails to secure runs in this tournament, because it will set a wrong precedent for future captains and coaches if Dhawan fails yet he continues to be a part of the team. Then this attitude towards one individual will not work if we do not give the same respect to other individuals who have performed for the team for so long, yet they cannot find a place in the team, or because the captain and the coach have influenced the selectors to include Dhawan only because he is a friend of the captain. And specifically, he epitomizes the aggressive nature of the captain, even if he doesn't epitomize the consistent nature of the rest of the team. It's all a hypothesis till the tournament starts. So yes, Dhawan will be one individual on whom the eyes will be there like a hawk. That's the way things are until any untoward incident happens. That's the way things will be. The hockey captain Manpreet Singh has said that the team can make it to the finals of the Olympics in that particular sport. And while for most pseudo and bits and pieces critics, this is a far-fetched hope, for me it's a hope which can happen and which will happen. Though the Pro Hockey League is a different tournament from Olympics and will have no bearing as far as points and other factors are concerned, every match in the Pro Hockey League and every performance will be scrutinized by these bits and pieces critics and by me, the best supporter of hockey in the last decade, with the first Pro Hockey League match starting 2 weeks from tomorrow. The hockey captain said, and I quote, "Looking back, 2019 has been very good for us. We started the year in the fifth spot and managed to maintain that. The biggest aim for us in 2019 was to qualify for the Olympics, and we have managed to achieve that under a new coach. Is the current hockey setup, the current hockey players, the contemporary setup, the best hockey team to come in decades despite not having an Olympic gold or a world championship in their cabinet? Yes, they are. Manpreet Singh and his contemporaries are the best and the most talented, skilled hockey players to ever become a part of an hockey team, despite the names like Dilip Turkey, Dhanraj Pillai, and the often famed team of the 1980s and the 1970s. The fact that the opponents in this Pro Hockey League are themselves strong teams from Europe and Australia, it will make it even more interesting as to how the team shapes up, because unlike cricket, conditions are irrelevant in this sport. It's about how one performs at that time. The turf, the conditions, the pitch, these things are insignificant as far as hockey is concerned, and one's skill plays an important role as far as the outcome of the match is concerned. So yes, I will be looking forward to the Pro Hockey League tournament and how the team performs, and every performance will be analyzed and will be brought to you on this network by your host Aditya. So stay tuned for the analysis of the Pro Hockey League tournament. Thank you for listening to episode number 151 on the 3rd of January 2020. Stay tuned for the next episode. Do like and subscribe to my YouTube page as well as the LinkedIn page. Till the next episode, it's good night and goodbye from the studios of Aditya Digital Network.
This is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.